Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to AirsickHydra. This video we have some hot and fresh gameplay footage of Elontir the High Elf Mage from Warhammer Chaosbane, the upcoming Warhammer Fantasy ARPG. Now, what we're going to do is pass over to Chris. We're going to play the actual video all the way through without me nattering. And then what we're going to go through is the video again, with me nattering, talking through some of the things we can see, and especially picking to pieces the upcoming skill system which we have our first glimpse of. So, without any further ado, over to Chris.
Peggy 18.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris from the Chaosbane team. Today, we're going to highlight Elontir, the High Elf Mage. Please remember, the gameplay images you're going to see are from an alpha version of the game. During the Great War against Chaos, Magnus the Pious declared an immediate amnesty for any magic user willing to serve. Elontir gained quite the reputation during the war for his mastery of the magical arts, both when fighting the forces of Chaos in Prague and during the Siege of Kislev. He specializes in dealing damage from a distance. Through his mastery of the winds of magic, Elontir can cast a number of different spells. He replenishes his magical energy by dealing damage. The flip side is that his spells consume a lot of energy to cast. It's up to you to choose the right combination of spells to make the most of Elontir's abilities. Whilst he deals damage with single target attacks, it's his area of effect abilities where he really shines. For example, Aetheric Hurricane is a great way to hold off a group of enemies while inflicting damage, and by casting Phoenix Shield, he can create a wall of flame, perfect for lighting up an oncoming horde. As a ranged caster, Elontir is vulnerable in melee combat, but he's not weighed down by the heavy armor of a soldier, making him much more agile, using both his dexterity and magic to stay out of harm's way. But don't worry, if you're running low on energy, he knows his way around a blade. Warhammer Chaosbane is great in co-op, and Elontir can play a vital role in the team. Elontir can freeze time to give his allies, or himself, the chance to unleash their fury on entire waves of chaos demons. And by toggling the right stick of your controller, or by holding down the spacebar on a keyboard, you can move and direct your abilities to follow the enemy's movements. Elontir's most powerful spells come from the god Hoath, the elven god of knowledge, learning, and wisdom, the patron god of wizards. You can unlock these new abilities from a specific skill tree. But if that's not enough to crush the threat of chaos, then he can activate his bloodlust abilities. With these exceptional new skills, you can activate devastating new spells for a short period of time, especially handy during boss fights. That's a wrap for the gameplay video dedicated to the High Elf Mage, Elontir. Follow Chaosbane on social media for more details and gameplay videos, and I'll see you next time.
And that reminds me, if you'd like to join us in the community Discord and ask some questions to Chris, who is tied down within there, feel free to join and do so. Obviously, it's quite a way away from development, so don't expect anything too much in the way of spoilers. But in terms of in-engine shots here, it looks like the anti-aliasings maybe had a little bit of a tweak. Everything looking a little bit crisper than it once was. Maybe this is just being rendered at a high resolution initially. Elontir, they're looking pretty good. A little bit of boldness around the characters too. There seems to be a pretty good vibrance of colour. I like the idea, and I'm hopeful that they're actually going to use slideshow images such as that to tell the narrative. I think in a top-down ARPG, that's just going to be the most, let's say, affordable way to tell a decent story. CGI cutscenes all over, left, right and centre are very nice to have, but let's be honest, I'm not particularly expecting too much from an ARPG from a smaller developer, but we shall have to wait and see. Now, a bunch of new abilities being showcased as well. We have, I think, about 2 or 3 new abilities here, but in particular most of them seem to have been crisped up a little bit. We can see a standard, I'll call it Dragon Breath there. I have no idea what the real name is. In a moment we'll do the same ability and we're going to sprout wings from our back. Presumably that's a different tier, but we shall have to wait and see. The Phoenix Shield, or Wall of Fire, as I'm going to call it, looks pretty damn good too. I think we can get a little bit of a feel here about the actual playstyle of this character. The stylish blink away from an enemy coming to melee you. definitely seems like something that's going to be, let's say, appealing to a number of different characters, as well as that the actual melee animations seem pretty crisp and fairly methodical, not a massive attack speed on the characters, but I think that's in keeping with what they like the idea of this game portraying. Also, shout out to all of the Khorne followers. The Bloodletters, we also have some Khorne hounds, I believe, hiding somewhere. There they are. Looking fairly good in terms of animation. I'll pass for that. Also, that I believe that's a beastman hiding there who just got shot down, but thus far, pretty excited about this character. Now, for something a little bit more exciting, we have coming up a preview, at least, of a skill tree system. Let's pause this right here and go into some detail. So, what we can tell, and obviously this is likely placeholder, but firstly, I would say I like the UI. The UI seems pretty neat. But what can we tell about the overall type of skill system these developers are looking to make? Well, we have 6 skills on the left-hand side. We have 6 on the right. That seems to be divided into active and passive. I may be wrong, but that seems to be what they're moving toward. What you can see in the middle tier as well is that this is currently occupying about half of the total scrollable space. Obviously, the tooltips aren't implemented yet. However, we can tell that the 40 skills that they have mentioned seems to actually imply that there are going to be 3 tiers of each. So 40 individual skills all doing something totally different? Methinks not. However, what we get the idea of here is that each skill has 3 available tiers. Maybe these will do different effects. We have no idea whatsoever. However, it does seem that there's going to be a fair amount of choice. You can see 70 available points for each character. This may change, this may not, but all we need to know now really is that there will be a basic cap on points, and you'll be choosing on where to spend them and which skills you want to level up to a different degree. So you can see on the left-hand side here, along each of the wheels, that we have 8, 5, 10, 5, 10, 15. So very interesting to see how this works. Now, this character currently has 70, so it might go up a lot higher. Who knows? Who knows? It's not worth really reading too much into this right now, but just to get yourself an idea of the skill system. Obviously, we're not looking at a Path of Exile clone here. This is something which is, let's say, a little bit more pick up and play, a little bit more user-friendly. Which skills do you want to level up, which ones do you don't? Sounds fairly straightforward. We also have a standard damage stat, defense stat, and wound stat, so it's difficult to say right now if we're going to be min-maxing certain resistances akin to most similar ARPGs, or whether it's just going to be stacking defense as a straight-up characteristic. We shall have to wait and see on such details, and I think more will probably become clear when we see the gear. Let's press that magical play button again. But still nice to get a little bit of an impression as to what the actual developers are looking forward to creating. But thus far, I have to say, the footage is looking crisper as time goes on, which is nice. We can also see a bunch of different and new spangly abilities manifesting, so I'm looking forward to seeing those for the other characters too. We still have a dwarf and we have a Waywatcher left to go, which I'm looking forward to seeing. But guys, this is the latest footage from Warhammer Chaosbane. Hope you've enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe. Take care.